see how we go tonight. Thank you for listening to or watching the Upland Down Under Podcast. Tonight's show is recording live on Thursday, 2nd of May at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. On tonight's show, we're going to catch up on the Upland market floors, check in on the neighbourhood ratings winner for April, and look ahead to what might play out in May. We've got the Blossom Season Pass Drop 5 to take a look at, and the Washington D.C. collection reveal to get prepared for, and has a cryptic new asset just been teased on X. We've also, I've just seen, got Upland Community Awards 2024, Genesis 2024 Hackathon, and the Q2 AMA and Community Meetup to take a bit of a peek at. Main topic for tonight's show is, of course, get some LFG. The first Sparklet Airdrop drops tomorrow. Are you rubbing your hands together with glee or shaking your head at a missed opportunity? We've got a bunch of QIPS to dive into, also including customised property tags, map asset scaling, co-founders community engagement, and more property sniping drama. Somebody got absolutely wrecked. Ouch. And of course, we'll take a look at another Upland Community member spotlight, care of the Dynamic Node Builders team. And this week, we're going to give away a whopping 55,000 UPX and a Samurai Aquatics map asset. I will endeavour to get that UPX out pretty much straight after the show, so hopefully you've got a bit of extra coinage there for the collection reveal coming up in a few hours. All that and more, of course, on this the Upland Down Under podcast. And what do you know, for the third week in a row, if I can push the right buttons. Am I sharing screen? No, I'm not. What am I actually doing here? Stop share. Sorry, Kishal, I'm just completely flogging up your little thing here. Let's try this one. There we go, hopefully. All right, back to the notes. Where are we? And yes, for the third week in a row, the UDU podcast is brought to you tonight by an awesome supporter of the show, Kishal089, as I said, and his map asset meta-venture called Rustic Arts, which is situated at 7754 Jellicoe Ave in Los Angeles. He's got a bit of a blurb here. Step into Rustic Arts, your haven for map assets where each piece is curated with passion, weaving a personal touch into the virtual realm. Jump on over to 7754 Jellicoe Ave in LA and uncover the artistry that transforms spaces. Your journey begins there, where maps and memories intertwine in a uniquely personal Metaverse showcase. Did you get another entry into the weekly contest for tonight? If so, just like last week, on top of the usual prizes, your entry will also put you in the running to win one of 5 Rustic Well map assets that will be given away in Kishal's name later on this evening. If you're wondering how you can take part in the live recordings of this very podcast, as I always say, the link to the podcast is in the NBA server. I drop that Thursday nights at about 6:45 p.m. AEST. Now, before we get into the breaking badly news and take a look at what's currently happening in the Upland market floors, well, have you checked out the fundraiser campaign that old mate Elslack, aka the Vulgar Uplander, is about to get kicked off? And my gosh, hasn't he been vulgar the last couple of days? Let's see what he's got going on over here. So, Elslack's got a bit of a blurb for us here as well. He says, do you like helping your fellow Uplanders? Do you enjoy helping sick kids? Do you want to win some amazing prizes? If you answered yes to any of these, then let's face it, of course you did. Then you won't want to miss Elslack, the Vulgar Uplanders event to raise money for sick kids. On May the 5th, so a couple of days, through to May the 12th, you can head on over to any of his Metaventure shops or go directly to his fundraising page and make a donation. To make a donation in Upland, just head on over to one of his 4 shops and purchase one of his Legits or Block Explorers. All USD money will be donated to his local children's hospital. After the campaign has concluded, check out Elslack's YouTube channel for the live giveaways. For all the details on how you can be part of this amazing event, head on over to his Extra Life page. Links in the description, and get involved. You won't want to miss this one. And don't forget to give him a like and subscribe on his YouTube channel also. He puts out a ton of Upland related content that's sure to grab your attention. The link for that is also in the description, of course, and we'll just have a very quick look at his page here. So yeah, it's about to kick off. Goal, pretty modest goal there, 2,500. If you are able to, and you can, get on over there and support him out with a direct donation, or yes, some of the stuff that he's got going on in Upland. Good on you, mate. All right, we'll move on to the breaking badly news and check out what's happening in the city floors. Thanks again to Swally this week for putting the numbers together. I was running mad late today from work, had to do some overtime. So let's see. 90-day averages, not a lot happening there. Pretty flat on the transactions, only 0.3 bump, but at least it's up on the trading volume. Unique active wallets. Look at that, though. We haven't seen numbers like that for a very long time. Up 11.3%, was just over 72,000 unique active wallets for the 7 days last week. Now up over 81,000 unique active wallets. Very good to see that. Hopefully it keeps climbing. Total unminted properties, of course, that's all balanced out now that the data's come through to UPX land. So there's still, well, from the snapshot we took last week, there's an extra 10,000 properties being added. Expect a fair few of those will get gobbled up, probably in some last-minute FOMO for the DC collection reveal, and potentially afterwards as well, depending on what gets released, of course. In the floor markups, what do we got? 40%, lots of 40s. Bermuda's down to 80. That's still pretty strong compared to everywhere else. Fresno still holding out, 78%. LA, 26%. My gosh. How low can she go? Wow, 26%. Very interesting. Manhattan, even it's down to 63%. Whoppo. Queens, Rio on 30. And where's Washington D.C. at? 48. I sold a few just as soon as I was able to. I think I scaled down from 35% to 30% just for a quick sale. And Staten Island, 72%. So, yeah, that's very surprising. 26%. Wow. All right. It is what it is. Currently, your worst place to buy for UPX and sell for USD is in Birmingham. Spread there's quite wide. Buy for just over 11,500, sell for $3.70. Not looking great in New Orleans or Porto either. Best bet for buying for UPX and selling for USD is Stockton. Buy for just under 4,300, sell for $3. And LaSalle, that's a bit of a weird one. I don't know if I did that right, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Maybe it is. Trenton's looking pretty good too. Buy for 4,444, sell for $3. Any big movers and shakers in there? Double digits. Bakersfield down 10% on the USD, was $3.40, pushing to $3. Berlin bucking the trend on the USD, was just under $9, now just under $10. Birmingham, yeah, there's significant UPX USD shenanigans going on there because it's up 16.3% on the UPX and down 7.5% on the USD, which signifies that somebody's buying up the UPX floor there and selling for USD. Where are ours? Buenos Aires pushing away from the $3 floor, was $3.50 last week, up over 10%, $3.87, looking good. Not much happening. Nashville, whoppo, $3.68, down 18.5% to $3 floor this week. Lots of $3 floors there. Rutherford down back under $20 and still holding strong at 55,997 UPX though. Santa Clara now $15, was $17 last week, and that's about it. Bit all over the place, pretty choppy. All right, let's see what else we got. Now I tried to do the neighborhood ratings check, but with the website maintenance and whatever that's going on, the leaderboard's gone. But old mate Rodrigo from the Quailwood node, he put this tweet out. He says, according to the data, we have reached the end of the month, staying in first place the whole time. So at some point next month, we will have our very own Quailwood collection card. Yeah, they were well out in front of Greenwich Village, maintained their lead the whole time. So congratulations to them. What's going to happen in May? Greenwich Village is miles ahead of Bayswater, although they did have a nice bit of a boost there. So you'd think that's in the bag for them as well. See what happens. Prad Day Bandera following up Sherwood Forest. Then a big, massive drop to Dogpatch. Old school San Francisco won that one. Cheese's Note in the Bronxdale. And then Nubbex's Hanson Dam, Palmer Park, Boys Town, and South Market. So, all over the place down there. All right, that's a load of gas bagging for me to get kicked off. How are you this evening, Swally Man?
Mate, we're fantastic. A little bit tired, but fantastic.
Yes. A false start collection reveal last night, keeping you up till all hours.
Yeah, somehow I missed the announcement, so I stayed up to nearly 2 o'clock waiting for the reveal. Only to find out I was 24 hours early. Better early than late, I guess.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't get up for it, but I was half woke up in the morning reasonably early expecting that it was going to be there, but clearly it wasn't. So, yes. All right, so let's have a look, shall we, at the latest Blossom Season Pass. If you haven't checked it out yet, I mentioned Elslack, the Vulgar Uplander, at the start of the show. Get on over to his channel and take a gander at his opinion on the whole thing. It's pretty much eye-watering listening to his. I was even like, "Ooh, that's ouch," but can't argue with him. So what do we got here? I've got this on double speed, I think. Yep, so we can rocket through it. Drops alive. So we got an airshippy overlay thingy. Okay, then, righto. Yeah, a robot. I loved how he kept saying, "I like robots, but this is crap." Little man over there, electricity kind of thing. That looks a bit like the old school Spark logo. Very similar, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reuse of it. If you look at the Upland Down Under Podcast logo, I've ripped that Spark logo for the S in that, and that looks very, very similar. And that was it. So, yes, not a lot going on there. It sounds very much like Elslack definitely won't be buying next month's pass or next season's pass. How about yourself out there? What do you think? Are you loving it? Hating it? Let us know in the comments.
My opinion is worst drop so far from the 2 seasons. I was very disappointed. I'm on the fence whether I'll get the next one or not. I haven't definitely decided I won't, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. See how much money I spend in Washington.
Yeah, I didn't get that drop and that pass for the drop, so I definitely won't be getting the next one either. Well, but it's always interesting to follow along. Maybe it's your bag. Maybe there's an angle there that we're missing out on. Maybe you love it. I don't know. It's just I think we covered this in detail. I know Elslack, he's covered it in detail as well. There's just so much else that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other awesome things that could be done, and it just seems really, really minimum viable product.
The one thing I'll say, being someone that treasure hunts and clicks on a lot of properties all the time, it is refreshing to see different images come up when you click on a property card. So it's not always the same white, boring property card that was for so long. We're now getting a variety. And as more different things get dropped, people are starting to have their favorite and just leave it. Either that or just not changing it up. But there's starting to be a few different ones there. So there's a bit of variety there now. So I do like that. But that's a minor plus for what's been overly disappointing, to be fair.
Yes. Yeah, so you won't be in a rush to get the next one yourself?
I'm undecided at this stage. I don't think there's anything that's going to change, that they're going to do this the rest of this season to change my mind. The thoughts cross my mind, and this is something Upland could do and probably dream me a little bit. Like I could see them at some point at the end of the year going, anyone that bought all 6 from the whole year gets a bonus of something or other, some sort of prize. I don't know, which again in itself probably would be disappointing. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I hope they're listening to feedback and start going, all right, let's start doing this. I can only assume that they're busy with everything else they're doing at the moment, and this is like everything else on the back burner for, we'll fix this up later.
Yes,
maybe after
one day eventually soon.
Yeah. Maybe after Sparklet's release, then certain people that have been tied up with that for 12, 18 months can start looking at other things. I don't know.
Yes. So the collection reveal, because what was it? It was some holiday or something in the States? What were we saying? A developer's holiday for the collection reveal?
Developer's Day off. I saw Squazza said something, because I questioned it last night when I realised it wasn't happening. And he goes, developers day off or rest day or something like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So he posted a link to the notification, which obviously I missed. So anyway, so my bad for missing it, but certainly, I mean, it wasn't in the initial DC notes, which would have been the place I went looking for it. So
Yeah, I had a bit of a whinge about it too in the UCN, and Tan the Man, he pointed out that it was mentioned by Lisette pretty early on, and Lisette says here that it was see details in the post about it, but for the life of me, I've looked through the bloody thing and I couldn't find where it was in there. Maybe it's there and I'm just blind. I'm a man. We're notorious for not being able to see things.
No, it's not. It's not in here. I did see that post, and I saw the Thursday, and for us, it's always a day before anyway. So I don't think it clicked to me that it was a different day, that it had changed, and it also mentioned the snapshot. So I thought it was just a reminder of what we already know, and didn't really think too much about it. When now, obviously, for us, it's Friday, 2 a.m.
Yeah. Do you get up for the 2 a.m. one? I never get up for the 2 a.m. I get up because they lock everything and then open it up an hour later, sort of thing. Or are you on it from the get-go?
I do. I tend to stay with the 2 a.m. I tend to stay up because I find it easy just to go to bed afterwards. So usually up to midnight anyway. So 2 hours doesn't matter. Plus, you can sort of capitalize on that FOMO at the beginning too. So if you do have something surplus that you want to get rid of, and it turns out to be something good, which let's face it, it's 1 in a million for me.
That's true.
You can capitalize on that. I mean, it's certainly capitalized on it with Bermuda when I picked up 4 and sold 1 straight away for a good profit. And now I think I tried to flip 1 during the week just to raise money for this week and couldn't even sell it, and that's with a build on it. So Bermuda's taken a real nosedive.
Yeah, I'll probably get up at 2:45, maybe 20 to 3. I'll have a look at the notice and have a bit of a scope around if there's an exclusive or a rare there that's worth getting to boost my dividends. Well, then I'll start looking a bit seriously. If there's nothing happening, I'll just go back to bed.
But you're in a different market to me. You're in the millions market, where I'm in the competing with everybody else market.
Yeah. Ideally, I'd pick up a exclusive or a rare collection there that's in the order of maybe 3 mil, something like that, and then that'll leave me a mil to... I'd love to see a blue collection too. I'll just buy up, mint up the floor there and hold those to flip for USD.
I don't think there'll be a blue. There might be a purple. I don't think there'll be any blues.
Don't think so?
No, it's not an exclusive tier 1 city. They've changed from what they used to do, the old school. Because you think of the last few cities we've had, like London, Tokyo, even Miami, I don't think had blue ones.
Yeah, not compared to Chicago, and that was loaded full of blues.
Yeah, Chicago, San Francisco, even Manhattan and all that. But that was back in the early days. So I think they've changed up a little bit how they do those collections. So I can't see... I could be totally wrong, but like I said to you during the week, I think there's going to be a lot more orange collections than we're used to seeing. I think there's probably going to be 6 at least, maybe. And like I said, my theory behind that is they keep saying this is an exclusive city. And on top of that, you've got that gamified earnings task to get 3 exclusive collections. And the only way you're going to do that is having a bunch of them in a city release. Yep. Otherwise, you've got to go out there and buy overs for them, and people aren't going to do that.
No, you wouldn't think so. So let's just have a look at Miami. So yeah, you're right. They only had the generic Miami one.
Yeah.
There was no standards. You had, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 limiteds, 2 exclusives, 2 rares, and 2 ultra rares. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
So I think the general consensus is from people that seem to know and look at the background or whatever in the coding, there's going to be 14 collections revealed tonight. So obviously, Pennsylvania Avenue is obviously the number 1 that everybody was after, but there'll obviously be another street or 2 in there that maybe I didn't get into any of the researching of the streets. I just trying to set up a web, so that's what I went for. But I think I think you wake up at 3, you're going to have plenty of choices in the millions.
Yes, hopefully so. Well, so there we go. Because I can have a bit of a look here. What's my dividend rate did drop down under 2 million again. So just under. So yeah, if I can get I should be able to easily get extra 35,000 or something like that. Get me back over that 2 mil mark. I'd be very happy with that. And like I said, just mint up the floor.
I feel so sorry for you being under 2 mil.
Yes. Woe is me. I did have this one over here that I minted just as a USD flipper, but I thought I'll just hold on to that until after the collection reveal, because you never know. I have my showroom property in Wakefield here. That was the main purpose for me to buy a property there, and then I got extra 2 to flip for USD, but I've got 3 there, and I thought, well, I'll just wait till after collection reveal, because you never know if Wakefield happens to be a collection. Well, I might hold on to that, or I could always put those 3 in the generic collection as well. But so here we go. I forget how much did I pay for those. 50,000 or something, 70. So yeah, you're only talking
78.
maybe
So they're
$60
cheap.
or something by the time you flip it. Yeah. Oh, better collect those while I can too. Yeah. So yes, I don't know. Anybody else in chat? How you going with collection speculation? You tell the FOMO Dragon to F off. 6 Weeks says he's struggling to hear me again. Not more audio issues. Goddamn, I've got my microphone volume at 100%.
No, you
No
sound
FOMO
fine.
here, Laban says.
You sound fine at this end, at least on my end.
Yeah, it's always when I get to the recording, it sounds like dog shit, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And Lily, what's going on with you? You're bouncing in and out. I'll put you in, see if you hang around. So yes, collection reveal. Don't forget that if you do have properties up for sale, like those 2 I had in Wakefield, I did have those up for sale since I minted them, but I took them down just in case because you just never know. Yeah, either put them at stupid prices that you'd be very happy to sell them at, or get them off for sale. It's not worth the risk. Lily's on the tablet. All right, mate. I'll bounce you out just so it doesn't do any shenanigans there. Now that's pretty much all I thought we had for this week. But just as we were getting to go live, then I found out there was a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll tap into that just quickly as well. Where are we? Not that one. Oh, maybe we'll look at this first, eh? So, did you see the tweet that Upland put out? It was an interesting one.
I was just looking at it now. I even did a Google image search on it. So we're supposed to not know what it is and trying to guesstimate.
It looks very much. It looks very aeroplane-ish, or
yeah,
I don't know that.
The Google image came back with similar stuff, which is all aeroplane related. But
yeah.
We know what Upland's like. They make you try and think one thing and go the other way. So if they're trying to make us think it's an aeroplane, and it's probably some sort of aerodynamic race car or something.
Yeah, I thought race car too, because that almost looks like a wishbone over here. But race cars don't have rivets like this. It's not very aerodynamic. So I mean,
was there talk about I don't know, Formula One type vehicles coming in? I thought I heard that.
I would hope so, but not that I've heard. Yeah.
Or
maybe
what do they
speedboats or jet skis, or I don't know. You can see what I thought it was over here. My tweet was confirmed S&M fetish boots or stuff coming soon to Upland. That was my first thought, but yeah, obviously not. I'm just having a laugh there, but yeah. If I had to guess, I would say it's private jets, maybe. That'd be cool.
I thought that as well. Maybe you could just fly yourself around, but I don't know how that would work, but I'd definitely get one if I could. I'm FOMOing into that one.
Yeah, I imagine that would be a big ticket item that they could potentially sell for USD as part of your prize or something for Genesis Week. Wouldn't that be an awesome prize? The first ever mint one of one bloody private jet. So I could see him doing something like that.
Yeah, isn't that frustrating?
Cargo plane, maybe. A bit flash for a cargo plane.
Submarine.
Submarine, yeah. All right, yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah. We already got them. They're called cars.
More effing robots. Our Slack's going to have a meltdown. An S&M robot. There you go. Too funny. Yeah, not sure on that one, but yeah, it's always, like I keep saying, if you're not on X, Twitter, make sure you get over there because Upland's always doing fun little bits and pieces like that. All right, we shall move on. Of course, if you haven't seen already, we have the Cast Your Vote for Upland's Best. It's that time of the year where Upland celebrates members of the community. You can vote for, what do we got? Player of the Year, Broadcaster of the Year, Designer of the Year. What did I do? I got this pop-up when I woke up in the morning, and who was the Player of the Year for myself personally that popped straight in my head was Cern S4. I voted for him. Broadcaster of the Year, I voted for L Slack, the Vulgar Uplander. Nobody's made me laugh as much as he had in the last couple of months. And Designer of the Year, of course, I put old mate D-Tech there. That was just my first thoughts. I went with my first gut. It was a bit annoying having to do 3 bloody different submissions, especially on mobile, but yes, I don't know. Anybody else want to put their votes out? Who did you vote for? Or are you secretive with that sort of stuff?
I haven't
Have you
done
voted?
it yet.
Make sure you do.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. I haven't done it yet, though. Do I have to do it by
Mm.
the end of this week, do I?
I would
That's what
imagine
it
there's
said,
probably
by
a date there.
3rd of May. It says something
Friday, May the 3rd. Yeah.
now, I will. Oh crap! So I better do it tonight. I'll do it tonight
Yeah.
before the release, before the city. What do you call it? Collection reveal.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah.
So either going
it's
to
always
vote for
been
you
fun.
or
They do a award
you or
ceremony.
L-Slack. So if you're going with L-Slack, I might just
pile on.
Mhm.
I personally, I don't. How do I say this politely? I don't put any stock into this whatsoever. In fact, I've been pretty vocal in that I find the whole vote for me spamming situation. There's spamming. There's videos. Hey, vote for me. I find that just utterly repulsive.
It reminds me of the Logies.
Makes me sick. Makes me sick. Yeah, it's
Isn't that what
definitely a cultural thing.
Isn't that what the Logies are though? Like the Australian TV awards, where they're just like at the beginning of their shows, they're like, vote for us, putting in nominations and just popularity contest.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely a cultural thing where that's probably the norm. You know, you got your prom king and queen and all that sort of shit. We don't really play that vibe over here, do we? You do that stuff over here, you just come across as a total cockhead. So, yeah, not for me. If you do put a vote in for me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, I would just say just vote for whoever comes first into your mind. But yes, make sure you vote. That's the main thing. Make sure you vote. All right, moving on. We have the Genesis 2024 Hackathon now. I was very interested to see if they were going to do something like this again. I wouldn't say that this whole system has been extremely successful, maybe in the short term after Genesis Week, but definitely not a long-term thing. It always seems to just fizzle and die. It seems like they're trying something different this Genesis Week. So, how did you describe this, Swally, when we were talking about it before we got kicked off?
Presentation, not a presentation hackathon or something. I can't remember what I said exactly, but yeah, it's not.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah, not developing a program or having a prototype or something like that. It's just present your idea, put your team together. You know, turn up and the top 5 will get a chance to present, and top 2 win something.
Which is just as well, because you only got 10 days to craft a compelling business plan. So they're definitely doing something a lot different than they have previously. The more detailed and polished, the higher your chances of getting selected. Yeah, that's not the final presentation, of course. If you're chosen as a finalist, then you'll be asked to submit a presentation, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of similar with what they did with the design challenge as well. They kind of threw it open pretty wide there, and then they're going to narrow it down and go from there. So, yeah, a lot to work on there. The prizes was interesting too. I like the way that they scheduled the prizes. Where was that? So top 5 teams will have the opportunity to pitch their ideas at Genesis Week. First place is going to receive a kickoff grant of $2,500, Phase 2 $15,000, and Phase 3 opportunity to pitch for the Sparklet Grant program. So that's a hell of a drop. What was it, 50,000 or something? The first year, I believe. Might have even been that last year. Was big dollars, and now it's dropped down to 17.5. So clearly they've learnt some lessons there, not to give too much money up front, like show that you're actually going to do something before you get the funds. So, yeah, no, if you've got a good idea, there's still time to get involved, because, yeah, at the first stage, all you got to do is basically put a business pitch together, and it's pretty good. Upland's going to cover hotel expenses and airfare for one team member of each of the 5, up to $500 for travel within the USA and $1,000 for international travel. Wouldn't cover the whole lot, of course, but definitely help out a lot. So, yeah, if you've got some ideas, make sure you're into it. Anybody in chat, you all over that?
Someone put me on their team so I get a 20% discount to the US.
Yep.
No, I've got nothing. I'm just... But
yeah,
business plan wouldn't be too hard to put together these days with AI.
No, well, that's true, yeah. I like this Phase 3 part too, with the Sparklet Grant program. So clearly they're looking for people to be able to, well, it even says in there, you know, dive into the API and do stuff like that. So you can imagine if you start playing around with being granted a whole bunch of Sparklet, that's quite a financial incentive there too. How do you split that up between teams? That's always the struggle that we had with, map asset teams and whatnot. It'd be great if there was some way in game to play with all that, but who knows? Maybe they can do that as part of the whole deal. But pretty good prizes nonetheless. So yeah, I forgot about those entirely. And then, of course, through the week we also had the Q2 AMA and community meetup thing. I watched bits and pieces of that. I will confess that I fed the transcript into ChatGPT once again to give me the lowdown. Nothing major in that stuck out to me, except for the bloody backflip on UGC royalties. Like, what was the whole point of that? For the longest time, for years and years, we thought they were going to back pay the royalties, and then just a couple of weeks ago, I was bemoaning that they'd confirmed that they weren't going to do back pay royalties, and now they've flipped again and say, no, we definitely are going to get back paid. So all that angst for nothing.
I took two things out of it. Obviously, I don't care about royalties because I don't have much manufacturing, although I think I broke the news to you, did I? Yeah.
Yes, I think it was you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two things I took out of it was monuments are coming. Okay, cool. I'm probably never going to own one of those, so won't get excited. It would be nice, but I can't even I'll never get my hands on a landmark, let alone a monument. And two, pretty much everything else I'm interested in, at least, is maybe one day, perhaps, hopefully, eventually, where's Buellerman when I need him, was pretty much the summary for every other topic that I was interested in, including totems. Like they just didn't really answer anything, really. People asking questions, just no real answers. Not even ballpark answers, I don't think, just soon.
Yeah, that's pretty par for the course for those sorts of things. So yeah, I don't think there was any surprises there. So I don't think I missed out on too much by missing the actual recording. But we'll see. I've got to do an all-nighter tomorrow night, so maybe I'll catch up and blitz through and have a proper listen to it because, there's probably something I missed in there. ChatGPT is not going to pick up on everything, of course. So what else have we got? Of course, I've got the main topic for tonight pegged as just a little bit to touch on. Get some. Let's fucking go. The first Sparklet Airdrop drops tomorrow. I kind of put a thing there. Are you rubbing your hands together with glee or shaking your head at a missed opportunity? I think everybody in here's had a good crack at it. Going to be very, very interesting to see what we all end up with, of course. I know Elslack was kind of thinking about it and speculating as well. I'm level 3 with 8,400 points, but apparently I believe the amount of points that you have between levels, that doesn't impact it. If you're level 3, it doesn't matter if you're just level 3 or almost level 4, you're going to be level 3. I'd be stoked with 0.04, I suppose. Anything like that, anything more than that is gravy. Swally's shaking his head. You don't think it's going to be that high or way too low?
If you got level 3, I'm betting that you'll get 0.03.
Oh, yeah, you did say that, hey? You thought it was going to be pegged.
I'm level 2, so I'm guessing I'm going to get 0.02, which is one spark chest for me. So I'm like, it's certainly I'm not going to do cartwheels or anything, but still any spark better than no spark.
Yeah, I don't think it can be pegged like that because they did say each level has a specific pool, and then depending on how many people got that level, it gets divvied up. So it might be fractions. Yeah, I don't know, because don't forget, Sparklet isn't exactly Spark, so we're saying 0.04 or 0.03, but that's not. Yeah, that's not how it's going to play out. I don't think.
I think those pools will play more of a role because I don't think it'll go all the way through to 0.1 for level 10. I think it will vary as it gets higher, but I think the bottom 3, 4 levels, probably even 5, will just tick up by that one. That's my guess.
Have you seen the people? Have you seen the people on X? There's somebody there that's on level 10. Like, that's monumental. It's going to be fascinating to see what they get.
And to get the so-called 25,000 or the maximum prize, would that be for the 5 chapters though, not just the 1 chapter?
You would think so. Yeah, you'd have to think that was for the whole thing.
Yeah. So maybe they're going to get a whole spark or something for chapter 1. Or I don't know.
Going to be fascinating. But yeah, a bit more to touch on that whole thing when we get to the weekly challenge for this week. So we might as well leave it there. I think it's too late now anyway. You should have already connected your Upland thing. It's kind of frustrating from a communication perspective to see, especially a lot of the newish players in Upland General saying, "Hey, I can't connect my MetaMask," or "How do I connect to get this drop?" It's not exactly a very well described process there, which is strange because it is automatic. It could have been outlined a lot clearer, I think. So hopefully they fix that up for next time. But yes, so wait and see. Like I said, we got a bit more to touch on then when we get to the weekly challenge. And racing through it, that brings us to this week's QIPS. If you have an Upland related questions, insight, provocation, or statement that we can dive into on the weekly Upland Down Under podcast, then there's a link to the QIPS Google form in the description. A caveat to that is I think I might have maxed out the max on the form, because when I went to get tonight's ones, it started sending me to Google Sheets, which was a whole kerfuffle and a mess. So I may revamp that whole thing and might put a new link in. If I do that, I'll make sure I grab all the QIPS that have been submitted, and I'll put a ping out in the NBA server with the new form and update the link in the description. But yes, of course, if you do put a submission in, put your in-game name so that if it's used on the show, you win yourself some kind of prize. I said we got a bunch this week. There's a few oldish ones there that I've been talking about we got to get to, so we're going to bang through those, and a couple of new ones as well. So this week we start off with a statement from Hot Corner, who says, "I have no idea how to implement it, but I would love to be able to tag my properties with labels that would allow me to categorize and view the properties by the tag. For example, hashtag for sale, and I could see all of my properties for sale, hashtag apartment for all of my apartments, hashtag coffee shops for any in real life coffee shops I might own, hashtag street view for properties with a cool street view, etc. To take it to the next level, would be to allow other Uplanders to search all the tags in the game, and also if we could share a tag with someone in chat that could help facilitate trades and transactions." Well, that sounds like a good addition to me. What do you reckon about that?
I'm sorry, I missed part of that. I was typing in chat.
You're right. So being able to label your properties, like to quickly label them, like if you have collections that you don't want to sell, label this as hashtag collection. So it's kind of on your own map. You could maybe get a spreadsheet output of it, or whether it shows up different colors or some way to differentiate different types of properties that you have.
That was on one of my Swally segments. That was, if I continued doing that, was I wanted to sort of touch on, because even like with treasure hunting, there's certain properties I'd like to land on out of the blue that, you know, I know are low fees or certain people, and I'd like to be able to mark that somehow, like put a pin on it or something like that. Even if you can't type something, just to mark it or something like that, or like you do with your 68 million UpX sales, so you know you don't sell that. I'm probably going to start doing that.
Yep.
Up until now, I haven't really sold much in Upland, but this week especially, I've been doing a bit of selling, trying to get some UpX for tonight. I would love some sort of note on, to be able to put some sort of note, especially even if you're just looking at a property to buy or something like that, and you can just put some sort of tag or mark or something so you can come back later to it. Because trying to find something down the track, if you don't write it in a notepad somewhere else, you got no chance.
Yeah, or screenshots or whatever. Yep, absolutely. So Lily's in chat said, "What's the point with no filters in the game?" Yeah, well, that's a fair point too. Especially when we're getting ready for collection reveal, and there's still drives me absolutely bananas, even with now only 600 properties, not being able to search within your own properties to
that was brought up I think in the AMA, and I think that's going to be the next quality of life improvement.
Oh yeah,
eventually one day, maybe soon type answer, but I believe that's the next thing they're going to try and introduce. Why that's so hard, way above my pay grade.
Yeah, we're in our 5th year, or some of us are in our 5th year of playing this thing, and we still don't have basic search functions in game. It's, you know, mind blowing.
I would love to sort out my collections and make sure that they're all set properly, and I just couldn't be bother trying to figure it out, because to find one property when you've got nearly 2,000 properties, I just give up.
Yep.
So
yes, Swaley's kind of said there that I kind of do a system like that. If I have a property that is in a collection or something like that I don't want to sell, I list it for 68 million UPEX. If I have a property, typically it's some kind of notice property where I don't know where I got it from or why I have it, I set it for some crazy price, 742, 982, just spam the numbers so that when I go on my sales rampages, I know to hang on, this is something I've got to investigate further and see what it actually is before I flip it. With that system, you can then go to UPX land and filter your data and you can kind of work it out. But again, with all of these things, anything that actually comes in-game as a quality of life improvement, way better system. So, I don't know. I'm with you, Hot Connor. I think that would be really good. Right,
well, they did talk about
they
did talk about a 20-year plan, so maybe sometime in that 20 years.
Oh, far out. Yeah. Right. Yes. You will be drunk as hell doing Buellerman shots. Yes. So next up we got 6 Week 6. He's in chat tonight. He says, I bet you've discussed this before. Kind of. I was recently looking at some of DTEC's carts on the Upland map next to some of the other assets in the game. Goes on to say, am I misunderstanding things here, or are the assets, vehicles and buildings wildly out of proportion? I wonder if this can be fixed. Are they wildly out of proportion? Yes. The feedback on that goes way back to the very first instances of being able to build. Like, there's a video on my channel, the YouTube channel, where I put together a video. I was one of the first people that got Spark to test out the whole construction process, and immediately it was like, whoa, the scale on these buildings just looks completely whack. And, that goes... It's evident in there's so many properties within Upland where you can't even put a micro house, you can't put a small townhouse, but if you look at the street view, there's a bloody townhouse on it, or there's, a mini apartment or a house or stuff like that. So the scales have been whacked out ever since the first, 3D assets dropped in the game. There's been constant feedback given for that. It's never been fixed. I think at this point it's all wildly too late to do anything with it. But that's carried on recently. I did see that DTEC has mentioned some of the buildings that he submitted as designs were supposed to be so many towers tall, but then they just crunched them all together. And if you look at that compared to other buildings, it looks like a gnome's going to go into the door and this sort of thing. So, yeah, the scale's all whacked out. Lily said in chat there, we have now moved to real-life metric, but that's not how Upland started. Yeah, so there's kind of legacy drama there that was never looked at seriously. Could it be fixed? I doubt it at this stage. It's probably just a move-on thing. What's bizarre is that they haven't given us other options to be able to put... I don't know, what are they going to call it, though? A micro house. It's just bizarre, really. There's so many properties that you can't put anything on it. So, doesn't make any sense. So, yes.
Maybe the blueprints will solve that problem.
Yeah, maybe.
That scaling. That was mentioned as well, I think, in the AMA. They are trying eventually one day, maybe, to implement that blueprint system, which would be great.
It would be, yep.
Really.
And Laban's offered a blast from the past by saying cell towers will fit, or a trailer park. Oh, man, that's gone back to the Spud Wars if you're around for that. Wasn't that a kerfuffle? Yes, so you're absolutely right, 6 Week 6. There's a whole bunch of assets within the game that are wildly out of proportion. They have made efforts to try and get that sorted out. But, yeah, for what can be done with some of the older assets, I don't think there's a lot to be done. We're just stuck with it. All right, 2 more to get through. The next one we've got is from CernS4, who starts off by saying, it appears that historically, Upland co-founders Dirk and Edan were more directly engaged with players, and at least one of them would reply directly in social media chat with players, for example on Telegram. Do players feel like Dirk and Edan's roles in the last couple of years and moving ahead into the future is the right player-facing role, where they now stand mostly at a distance to make media appearances and do AMAs, or is there some need for them to play a more direct and immediate role in being there front and centre with the player community? Can speak to that from personal experiences. When we first moved over to Discord from Telegram, not so much Dirk, but Dan was all over the place. He was in general. He'd reply here, there, and everywhere. Dirk was always more of a Twitter kind of person, if memory serves me correct, and maybe on Telegram. Have they stepped back? Yeah, absolutely. They've stepped back a lot. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, they've employed people to fill those roles specifically. I think that's pretty normal that the co-founders or the owners or whatever you want to call it, they do all the glitz and glamour and leave the grunt work to other people. I don't know. Any opinions on that? Would you like to see Dirk and Dan, Manny, perhaps more?
No, I 100% agree with what you said. I think I guess they're the founders, so they've obviously got the right to do whatever they want. But we've got exactly that, community managers to answer that. I think the problem there is the communication between the top level and the community managers is something to be left desired. That's where the real problem is. I mean, the fact that, Dirk or Dan turn up here and there at different events and whatnot, great. I don't want to see them all the time because they've got their own job to do, and we've got specialist people in specialist positions to do what they need to do. So I'd hate to think that he's wasting his time chatting to nufties on Discord when he could be doing something way more important.
Yes. Yeah. Dirk's always flying here, there, and everywhere, shaking hands, kissing babies, all the rest of it, trying to get new partnerships and whatnot. The more they lean into that, I think the better it is, big picture wise. Laban said, partly touched on that last week with his QIPS, distance between team and the community. So well, I think you're probably right, Swiley, there, that if there is a disconnect, it's somewhere between that top level stage and then the stages below that.
Upper management, middle management, whatever, yeah.
But that's quite normal, isn't it? I mean, I always try and give a bit of perspective too, like how many other gaming projects or crypto projects are out there where you can have even the amount of access that we do to the founders and that.
I think what they're doing, I think that's the way to go forward. I think that's what a lot of crypto projects are doing with AMAs, stuff like that. Maybe not as much as they are, but I don't think they could step away and not do anything. I think crypto is a more inclusive type technology that demands the AMAs that you see on the Twitter spaces and all that they do all the time. So I don't know that we're lucky to have as much as we do with them. I think it's almost a standard now.
Yes.
I just wish the communication would improve tenfold.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. And the last question we've got for this week, this is an ouchie one, this one. This one's from Hu Yang, who says there was some drama recently where an Uplander mistakenly listed their terminal property for 2,795 UPX instead of USD. And the property was, of course, sniped straight away within 4 seconds. This has happened over years and will happen again in the future, but some little adjustment from Upland might be helpful. Number one, the USD selling price can be set in the format of XX.XX. Yeah, so you have to put in cents in there, which, you can't do if it's UPX. Introducing and displaying the decimal, say $3, yep. This may protect people from selecting the wrong currency. Number two, introducing the introduction of a minimum markup, say 70% for the UPX sell. Anything below this can be listed for UPX sell can't be listed for UPX selling at all. This is a tough one. You don't want to be harsh on people. Obviously, this is a newish player. They've essentially lost, I think it was like $1,700 or something like that. It's absolute ouch-worthy, but there's a process there where you got to click through it. It's a 2-stage process.
The message that comes up, though, isn't too dissimilar to the message confirming that you want to put it on the market. That's a big issue there. It needs to be something a little bit more obvious. I've made the mistake. My feelings on sniping bots. I mean, I don't want to open a can of worms. I'll rant on this all night. You think Elstack was bad with his drops. Like, I absolutely despise sniping bots. despise anything that offers an advantage to some players and not an equal opportunity to all players. So you got other things like Discords that can do alerts and tell you that, property's up for sale. Happy days, that's open slather. You got to be there at your computer, get the alert. Everyone else gets the alert at the same time. First in, best dressed. Happy days with that because it's open and used by everyone. Sniping bots, it's a skill that only a few have, and Upland seem to not give a damn about it. It's nothing new.
It's worse than that. It's worse than not giving a damn about it. It's that I've seen Reds actively pushing back against it, saying no, it's not sniping bots. We have the data to prove it's not sniping bots. And people say, well, people have to sleep. It's physically impossible for somebody to be online available 24 hours a day, sniping properties within 4 seconds.
You cannot
all day, every day.
The one time I did it, as soon as I hit OK, like I saw the message pop up and I was hitting just as habit, hitting OK, like just a repetitive memory, what do you call it? Auto action type thing.
Muscle
memory, that's the one. As soon as I pressed OK, I realized what the words actually meant. So it literally took me half a second for it to click. So I instantly clicked on the yellow little circle to cancel my listing. It was already sold.
It was gone, yeah.
So you trying to tell me that's anything other than a sniper? Not 100%. I'm not going to name the player. I've named it to you before, but I'm not going to name it now.
There's a campaign out there on Twitter to get them banned and this, that, and the other thing. I don't know that that's exactly
it's not a new problem, but if Upland aren't going to stop it, I mean, that they'll go put someone in jail for just posting something on Twitter, but they won't stop someone who I believe is cheating. I believe it's a form of cheating. There's no two ways about it, and that's a clear mistake. And if that player didn't at least hold onto that property to try and make good, at least to most of the extent, even if they'd charge a small fee to return or something, which is what happened to me, I did get my property back, but I ended up losing about 20,000 UPIX worth of value for 100,000 UPIX property. So for me, it was only a $20,000 UPIX mistake, but. I think they've tried to. I mean, we had that release of those lost properties in San Francisco, which we thought was maybe an attempt for them to catch all these sniping bots and send them to jail. And then they went, oh no, that was a bad way to release these properties, so we better not do that again. And no one went to jail. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on. Like I said, I could go on about this all night, but I'm not. We'll stop there before I get us in trouble or something.
Yeah. As for how it can be rectified, introducing a minimum markup for UPX, I don't agree with that. You need to let the market do what it wants to do. How can you protect people from themselves? I think, as you said, Swale, making it a bit more obvious, different colours, buttons, or there has to be some other way that you can do it.
There's one simple change they could make that would fix it almost instantly. Make the default listing USD instead of UPX. Just flip it around. So when you go in to sell a property, it defaults to UPX and you type in your number and press enter. Just flip it so it's USD. So you accidentally list a property for $2,300 instead of UPX. Well, then who cares? Like, you're just going to unlist it and relist it properly.
No foul, yeah.
So that's the easiest solution to accidental thingies. In terms of sniping bots, they could jail the sniping bots in a heartbeat. In fact, I actually saw one today that was jailed. Probably
was that the mix one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too when I was checking some stuff before. I was like, whoa, that's interesting.
But that'd be probably a multi-counting thing rather than would be my guess, rather than a sniping thing. Because, sniping's not a new problem. I learned that the very hard lesson when I first started, almost 2 years ago to the day.
Yes. Yeah, if I had to guess, it's probably they can't fix it, so they won't fix it kind of thing. The whole pushback against it.
Start throwing him in jail.
Saying it's definitely not. Yeah.
It's not hard. I mean, if you've got a transaction that happens in under 4 seconds, you know it's a sniping bot. You can't physically have the property listed and then sold that fast. Even with the alerts that come up on the Discord bots and stuff like that, it's still a 15-20 second delay. There's no way in hell you can get anywhere under 10 seconds. And even if they can prove that they're not sniping, fine, then you can release them from jail. But but I mean, there's at least 10, 20 sniping bots that the community know, and just Upland don't care.
So Trendy said in chat, the solution would be simple. There would have to be an additional step: activate the sale on the property card to review the entry. Yeah, I mean, there's probably But then that requires extra coding and whatnot. And like I said, we still don't even have property management tools, so extra stuff like that.
Flip the default.
I don't think that's coming, but just
flip the
changing
default.
the text color.
Flip the default. That wouldn't take any coding. That would just literally flip. This would be like 2-3 lines of code in the background. They could just flip backwards or have the set as default or whatever, and that would stop the accidental ones. It doesn't stop people from selling. Like I've seen stories of people wanting to sell something to a mate for half price in UpX, and they list it for half price, and obviously a bot picks it up straight away, and that sort of stuff's still going to happen. But if they don't understand how bots work, but in terms of the accidental USD instead of UpX instead of USD, just flip it, problem solved, move on.
Absolutely. Alrighty, well, that was a few to get through tonight. Cheers for that. Hot Corner 6 Week 6, Cernes4 and Huang. You've all earned yourselves 10,000 UPX after fees. And a reminder that if you submit a QIPS and you want to claim a prize just like they did, you have to include your in-game name in your submission. That moves us on to the Getting to Know Community Members segment, care of Mesme and the other members of the Dynamic Node Builders. This week they're featuring Phantom Marengo, who is currently a director with a net worth just over 1 million UpX. She's got 48 properties and is pushing towards 1.5 Spark. Her home residence is in the Playa del Rey neighborhood of LA. If Phantom Marengo doesn't ring a bell, you might know Phantom Marengo by her Discord and Twitter name. It is the one and only C. Prado. Let's have a sneak peeky at what she's got going on in her account. If I can push the right buttons. There we go. So, C. Prado, what's she been around? Phantom Marengo since July 26, 2022. Pretty stable growth there. Well, then what have we got? We've gone... That's interesting. The property count stayed the same, but the mint net worth jumped up and then jumped down. So I wonder if that was a swap or a buy and a sell or something like that.
Collection
and recently
swapping.
An uptick as well. Could be, yeah. And interesting that her mint net worth and her properties net worth graph switch over here a couple of times.
That could just be a USD burner type situation too.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that could go like that too. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at her DMB responses. So, yes, in-game name, Phantom Marengo, Uplander since July 2022. Been to Vegas, yes. Tattoos, yes. Occupation, spreadsheets, numbers, money, bills. One thing you will never do again, ride a motorcycle. Ouch. Bucket list, butt a car. I imagine that would be buy a car, maybe. Pet peeve, touchy people. If you could start a charity, dog and cat sanctuary rescue. Celebrity you know the most about. Yoshiki. Guilty pleasure, travel, superpower, teleportation. Oh, I'd like that one too. I'd zap on over to Japan and get some sushi or something. Famous fact about where you live, we speak Portuguese instead of Spanish. And 3 Uplanders you chat with regularly, Morchie's Uplando and the Goldsmith. So, good on ya, Phantom Marengo, aka C. Prado. If you'd like to get yourself involved in what the DMB's got going on, then there's a link to their Discord server in the description. Jump on over, say good day, and tell them the UDU podcast sent you. And a special shout out to Nomadan this week, who is one of the DMB leaders, who's holding down the DMB fort while Mesme is off gallivanting around Europe for a month. So good on you, Mesme. Trying not to get yourself in trouble, as I told you in DM, or if you do, don't get caught. So good on you. All right, that brings us on to give away some more stuff as we start to wrap things up here. The NBA server competition wheel. Last week's challenge was to get yourself in the contest channel within the NBA server and let us know what you think about the Washington D.C. minimum mint price fiasco. Did that error impact on your decision not to attend the release? What do you think that Upland can do moving forward to try to ensure these types of selling mistakes don't keep happening, or at least happen less frequently? Prizes, of course, your name's going to roll on a list of all entrants for the chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. Get yourself an extra entry in the 2024 end of year prize draws. And thanks to Kushal089 and his map asset metaventure called Rustic Arts, situated at 7754 Jellicoe Avenue in Los Angeles. All entries for this week's weekly challenge will again go in the running for an additional 5 Rustic Well map assets that will be given away. And let's do that now. So thank you, Kashal. As I said, he sponsored the show for the last 3 weeks and given away a whole bunch of stuff. I don't mind giving out prizes myself, but as I said, I definitely love giving away other people's. So first up, this is going to be coming from the UDU podcast from me. This will be for the 10,000 UPX. Who's going to get it this week? Elflax just missed. CERN S4. Some people just have mad luck. It's crazy.
Yeah.
CERN, I will leave your name in for the Shell Rustic ones as well, so I won't remove it from there. I'll give it a bit of a shuffle though. Let's shuffle it up. So I'm going to roll this 5 more times. First, Rustic Well. Map Acid goes to all the bands just missed it. Kinda 520.
Kinda's not with us this week.
Kinda. No. So I'm going to ding him out of there, so everybody else can have a bit better of a chance. Number 2, Rustic Well goes to... Oh, look at that. She's gallivanting about. Now she's got herself a prize as well. Mesme, congratulations. Let's get her out of there. I'll shuffle it again. Number 3, Rustic Well goes to... Man's just missed it. 6 weeks has just missed it. Now I better write this down properly. Cats. That's number 3. 2 more to go. Joink him out of there. Come on. Who's got this one? Oh, Mao's just missed it. Brabant's just missed it. Cass. Astra's claimed it. Well done, Cass. And we got one more. Lucky last goes to... Oh, Caesar's missed it. Disco says it. Trendy Prop is in chat as well. Disco says Disco Restaurant. I always pronounce that wrong. Sorry, mate. Congratulations. And yes, big shout out to Kushel089 and his Rustic Arts Metaventure at 774 Jellicoe Ave, Los Angeles for all of the additional bonus prizes. We got, I'll ping your name within the server and I would imagine Kushel will be in touch to get those to you soon. We do have a bonus prize as well to give away as part of last week's weekly challenge. 5,000 UPX goes to Plant Parrot, whose entry was the minimum price thing didn't affect his decision to take part in the release. He had this vague plan about a month ago to build up as much UPX as possible and then buy to flip in the next 2 releases and buy a load of props to hold after that. But as soon as it was announced the next city release was Washington, well, that plan went straight out the window as this city is one that he wanted to hold props in. So when they also announced the floor, the strategy was in a very messy place anyway, so it didn't make much difference. As for what they could do to avoid these silly mistakes, he says, I mean, they're so silly that it's hard to know what to say. Just like double check your figures, particularly if they look on the high side. The cynical bit of me thinks they did it deliberately to push purchase of UPX, or maybe someone in the team has a beef with Squall and wants to make him look silly defending the accuracy of their numbers. Who the hell knows? Well said, mate. Yes, so 5,000 UPX bonus for the Plant Parrot.
So Nessa's comment is in... So Nessa's reaction or comments in there as well if you want.
Oh, what's he got here? Cernes says, I was very happy to see the prices were a bit lower as I only had so much liquidity prepared, but because I intended to participate as is in the release, the discovered lower pricing was an added plus. Yeah, so this is a glass half full approach, albeit the whole issue did also cause some folks not to go, among other things. I'm not a big fan of temporary collections or the Stars and Stripes stuff, but I think some folks like that stuff. Yeah, the temporary collections, that I know people got shafted on that. They saw they should have used different icons. They shouldn't have used the standard rare and ultra rare and whatnot icons for those, because I nearly fell for that myself. When I was looking, I saw ultra rare icons. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all into that. And then you almost FOMO buy it. And then I stopped and had a look, and it was part of this temporary bloody thing. Yeah, weird one. So I have to agree with that. So that brings us on to this week's challenge. Now, you're going to have to hold out least probably 24 hours for this one, because I've got in the contest channel within the NBA server, let us know what your Sparklet airdrop level is, how many points did you have, and how much Sparklet did you get in the airdrop. And a bit of a bonus question here, what are you going to do with it? Of course, if you didn't get involved with the Sparklet airdrop campaign, saying so is also a valid entry. Prize, your name's going to roll on a list of all engines for a chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. Don't have a sponsor lined up as of yet for next week's show, so that'll be it. But don't forget, of course, that you'll also get yourself another entry in the 2024 end of year prize giveaway draws. I have started tallying up how much we've given away. I think, what did I say? 585,000 UPX and 39 map assets we've given away already this year. So it's going to be fascinating to see what that figure is like by the end of the year. So that brings us on over to the live participants. Now, we did have a few people jump in right at the end, so I'll try to get everybody's name up on there. Let me just quickly write this down. I miss having the old Jazzy Jazz who used to be able to see and send me these live, but I do know we had Maui, probably spelled that wrong, Laban, Swally, 6, L Slack, Lily was jumping in and out on the tablet, Trendy, Angry's in. Hey, Angry. What's that, mate?
Caesar's in.
Yeah, Caesar jumped in late, and is that all? Let me double check here. Maui, Laban, Swally, L Slack, Lily, 6 weeks, Trendy, Caesar, and Angry. Yeah, I think that's good to go. So this is going to be for your choice of a Samurai Aquatics or Garden Bridge. No, Samurai Aquatics, Garden Bridge, or a Love Heart Jacuzzi. El Slack got it last week. He claimed a Love Heart Jacuzzi, I believe. Let's see who's going to give it this week. Get it this week. It goes to... Ooh, Lily might have it. Lily, congratulations, Lily.
Well done, Lily.
Let's get out of there. That's it. Anybody else got anything to spruik, spam, promote, whine about, gloat about? No. Don't forget that LSlack has that fundraiser campaign thing going on. Links in the description, of course. If you haven't voted for the Player of the Year and all of that sort of stuff, get on over and get that done as well. We don't have much time left to do that. What else we got? We got the collection reveal coming up in a few hours. I'll be trying to get some sleep before the alarm goes off and I get up to do that. And, of course, the big Sparklet Airdrop as well. So, not a lot happening, but still a fair bit happening at the same time. A reminder, though, that if you are in a time zone that fits in with the Thursday night recording schedule, or you're an insomniac like Elslack and a few of the other regulars who get up at crazy AM, thank you very much for that, by the way. We kick off at 7 p.m. AST. If you want to get involved, the link to the weekly live podcast is always dropped in the NBA server about 15 minutes before we start. Link in the description. And I was going to have a guest lined up for the other kind of interview series that I do, but then I realised I got this other whole thing going on tomorrow and over the weekend, so I haven't abandoned that whole project. There's just been a lot going on in real life situation. Shout out to old mate D-Tech as well. He had a bit of an accident with his eyeball out in the Meetup. The Meetup is a dangerous place, so rest up and get better soon, mate. And don't forget to check out Kushal 089's map asset meta venture called Rustic Arts, which is situated at 7754 Jellicoe Avenue in LA. Give him a follow on X as well, Mr. Kushal 089, so you can stay up to speed with everything happening at Rustic Arts. That's all I've got to gas bag on. All the best with everything. What do we got here? Last minute stuff. Oh, I nearly said a Garden Bridge. I'll write that down. Garden Bridge. Caesar said, when Speedway Metaventures opens, yeah, I mean, I went to apply to open a bloody car showroom as well, but you can't apply for those at the moment either, so I don't know. I guess they're getting inundated with stuff. It's getting a bit crazy. Anyhow, it'll just pop up. You probably just got to keep checking it. We don't get announcements about stuff like that. It just suddenly becomes available. Right, that's all we got for this week. We shall catch you next week. Bye.